evening. Oh man, we're in Santa Rosa, New Mexico, and here's the deal. I come to you hat in hand. Friends, listen, I have failed you today. I started this morning taking video and found a load and everything, and I took some video going down to Lubbock to pick the load up, and then just plumb forgot the rest of the day to take any video. There's like 2 or 3 videos. If I put it all together, it's gonna like be an awful video, and I don't want you guys to have an awful video. So, I did have something happen today that reminded me of a story. Okay, and so what happened is the front bumper of these Kenworths, they have skins on, kind of like the Volvos, and the right skin on the front came loose today, and it's never really been an issue. It's always stuck together, but the right front came loose today, and it flipped back, and I heard something, looked around and saw that there had been a bug that had hit the windshield, so I cleaned the windshield off, and I didn't hear anything after that. So it flips back like this, hits the wheel, rubs against the wheel for a while, and then eventually, like, I hear this, like, ka-thunk, and I look over to my right mirror, and there goes the front skin of the bumper off that. So I backed up, picked it up. It looks like shit. I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. Went up a little ways, found a place to pull in, and put it back on. And then went on about my day. I don't like the way it looks. It's not like I can do anything about it until I get another skin. And more than likely what I'm going to do is just buy a chrome bumper for the front of the truck. Lipstick on a pig, I know, but I have learned that metal bumpers, although I know they'll bend, they will not come off the truck. So, and that leads me into my story. So, years ago, working at the sod company. Now, one thing you need to understand about the sod company is the sod company was one of these places that I call it my 20 years of experience in 3 years, because it really, that's what it felt like. I drove every transmission available except for a twin stick. I like 7-speed transmissions all the way up to 18-speed transmissions. And I'm not entirely sure that the dump truck wasn't like a 22 or something like that. But I mean, a little bit of everything. And I got stories coming out of my backside about this place. And I will try to remember to include a story on a regular basis and just share with you what happened. So, no, I will not give you a name and everything. But it's, it is where I worked and got a lot of my, a lot of my trucking experience. So, on this day, me and another guy were given the task of going to Oklahoma to get stone. We worked for a sod company that also picked up landscaping stone for you when you're landscaping and everything. It's like stone you put out in your garden or whatever. And we went and got it ourselves. And Larry was a guy that I was running with. Larry was a great guy. Larry unfortunately died last year in an accident. And we were like 2 peas in a pod, him and I. And we shared the same last name. We were not related. We shared the same last name. And he was always talking about the brothers, going to get stuff, and everything. So on this day, and I've got a picture of this. I'm going to try to remember to put it up. On this day, we walked in. And I was, hadn't been there real long. I wanted to drive all the trucks. And the only one I never really got to drive was the Western Star. So, which is a 2003 Western Star. I don't know the model, but it was a large car. And like I said, I got a picture of the 2 trucks together. I was tasked with driving the Champagne Pete. Okay? Let me tell you about the Champagne Pete. Champagne Pete was Anthony's truck. Last time I'm going to talk about Anthony because he's not a part of the story. Anthony took really good care of the Champagne Pete. Was it a perfect truck? No, it had faded paint. But Anthony took good care of the truck. Well, it's always worked. It had the round headlights on the front, the single round headlights on the front instead of like the dual headlights. I prefer the dual headlights, but to each his own. Anyway, I had been driving the Maroon Pete. That was my truck that I usually took, was the Maroon Pete. On this day, for whatever reason, our boss decided that Larry was going to take the Western Star. He was okay to take it. He usually drove the Champagne Pete, or Anthony drove the Champagne Pete. And I was going to get the privilege, the absolute privilege, to drive the Champagne Pete. Okay? So, did I tell you guys about the cigar? It's Aladino. There you go. It's actually pretty good. It's Connecticut. It's really good. Anyway, so the problem that day was we had enough fuel on property for them to fuel up my truck, but not enough fuel to fuel up Larry's truck. Now, Larry, I'm gonna try to do an impression of Larry. And Larry, please, I hope I get it right. Larry kind of sounded like Cotton Hill, from Hank, from the what was the King of the Hill, right? Great guy, absolutely loved Larry. He was a fantastic guy, and so anyway, so we start out. We're gonna run together, okay? We got the CB going, talking back and forth on the CB. Who needs a cell phone, But we're talking back and forth on the CB and everything. We're going pretty good. We get all the way up to Oklahoma, load up, strap up, and we turn around and we start back. And they had given us a fuel card because Larry's truck wasn't full. The Western Star wasn't full that day. And we were going to need fuel at some point for the Western Star. And Larry figured out we could go up there and get halfway back before we needed fuel. So we go all the way up there. We start back. And we get down to about, and he loses complete track of it. And we get down to about Paris, Texas. We're coming through Paris, Texas. Heading south on, I can't remember the U.S. highway that goes through there. But anyway, we're just getting off the loop. We're going south of Paris, Texas. I think it's 19 that goes down to Commerce. And he starts picking up speed. And we're chit-chatting on the radio. And all of a sudden he goes, uh-oh. I said, I said, what's wrong? And he says, I'm not doing an impression of him because I don't think I can do it now. He goes, well, apparently I'm going to do it. So he goes, well, Mike, he said, we were supposed to get gas earlier. I forgot to get gas. And I'm like, yeah? I'm like, are you running out? And he goes, yeah, I'm running out. I got to turn around. You can go on. I'm gonna run back up here to this truck stop and I'm gonna get some gas. And I said, no. I said, Larry, we're in it, we're brothers. You turn around, I'm turning around. That's how we do this. He goes, all right, well, So what happens if you run out of fuel? He goes, I think I'll be all right, but it's sputtering pretty bad. Okay, so Larry turns around, and I turn around right behind him, and he starts to, shift through the gears and get up going. And sure enough, the truck fucking dies. Sorry, I dropped the F-bomb. Anyway, sure enough, the truck dies. Okay? And he gets over to the side of the road. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to do now. And I said, well, did you get a gas can or something? He goes, no, it might have to be primed. And I said, what do you want to do? And he goes, I don't know, man. I said, I don't know. And I said, okay. I said, you got to give me an answer, man. Like, we got to figure out what you're going to do. I don't know. And I said, well, and he was kind of out in the road. And it was either like call the DOT and have them come block the road so nobody ran into him, or figure out how to get him out of the road. And my experience at the streetcar company had sort of kind of prepared me for this, but not really. And I said, listen, I said, just really share, put it neutral. He goes, what are you going to do? So I'm going to push it. He goes, no. They just put a new bumper on that truck, and they did. Nice, shiny new, the picture I showed you has a nice, shiny new bumper on it, okay? And he goes, no. He said, I said, Larry, what else are we going to do? You're in the street. Like, we're both in the road. Like, we got to do something. And he goes, all right, let me see if I can find something to put between the bumper and the back of the trailer. Okay. So he gets back there, takes a blanket or a towel or something, puts in between the two trucks. And I ease up to the back of the trailer. And he's loaded with about 80,000 pounds. Excuse me. And I'm about 80,000 pounds. So I ease up to the back of the trailer, right? And he put a little pressure on it, and just a little bit. And he and I know there's people out there cringing right now. Just stand by; it gets better or worse depending on how you look at it. So Larry gets back in the truck, puts it in neutral, and releases the brakes. Said, "Okay, okay, here we go." And I just kind of ease into it. First gear, you know, kind of just keep pressure on it a little bit. Ease it on up. I get us up to about 30 miles an hour. You know, blinkers are going tick, 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 tick on the back of my truck. And I push him. We go like 2 miles down this road, okay, to this fuel stop, this place with diesel. And I push him the whole way. I haven't heard of anything, not a crunch, nothing. So I get him in the fucking, you know, diesel island, or into the parking lot, right? And he just barely, like, I get him enough speed, he just barely coasts into this place, but not up to the diesel pumps. I'm like, I'm gonna come get you. He goes, no. And I said, no, let me try it, Larry. And so it was kind of at an angle. You see where this is going, don't you? Oh, it was kind of an angle. So, like, I get up behind him and I push just a little bit, and he just won't go anywhere. It's just uphill. It's the wrong angle, whatever it is. So, I back off of it, and guess what? The front of that bumper, that nice new Texas bumper, has been in like this. And it was stupid. I know it was stupid, but we were desperate to try to figure something out. So right there next to it was a place that was like a truck repair shop. And so I ran over there real quick and asked them if they had a gas can. They said sure. So he went and put $5 of diesel in, put it in the Western Star, and we managed to get the Western Star started and rolled it over to the island. Got the fuel that he needed. I, in the meantime, like, stepped in front of the Champagne Pete and pulled the bumper out as straight as I could get it. Noticed that I had put a dent in the front headlight on the right side of the truck, and immediately knew that I was fired. And so we get it back together. He goes, "Oh man, you bent that up. You bent it up real bad." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know." He said, "We shouldn't have done it, Mike. We shouldn't have done it." I said, "Yeah, I know." So we start back, get to the yard, you know, late in the day. Nobody's there. So I come in the next day and I said, "Listen," I pulled the boss aside and said, "We got to talk." And I said, "Let's go out and look at the Champagne Pete." He goes, "What's wrong with it?" I said, "Let's go out and look at the Champagne Pete." And he goes, "Okay." So we walk out there, and I'm showing him the bumper, and he goes, starts smiling, and he goes, "What'd you do?" And I said, "Listen," I tell him the whole story I just told you. And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "Well," he said, "It's all right, Mike." And that was Jason. That was the way he talked. He said, "It's all right, Mike." He said, "You did what you had to do in order to get him out of the street. That's all that's important." He said, "But you're never going to drive the Champagne Pete again. Anthony won't let you." And I was like, well, I don't blame him. And so, anyway, they ended up, Anthony, like, they waited a couple months. They finally got another Texas bumper to put on the front of the truck, or another bumper to put on the front of the truck. But I never got to drive Champagne Pete after that. But that's my bumper story for you today, and my way to say I'm sorry about the video. I had a lot of good times at that place, and there were a couple of times I thought for sure I was going to be fired. I mean, was ready for it. Walked in and was ready for it, and he never fired me. As a matter of fact, if I wanted to go back today and work for him, they'd have me back in a heartbeat. So, I don't know why, but they would. So, anyway, that's what I got for you guys tonight. I appreciate you sitting with me and letting me tell my story today. And you guys know the drill. Keep your shiny side up, and we'll see you down the road.